everybody, welcome back to the Realtor Show. This is Dan Sfera. I'm with Dan Peart. He's the team leader at Keller Williams, Irvine.
Hello.
Hey guys, so this show is all about empowering you, the real estate agent. We're going to talk about strategies that will make you more successful, how to build your business, how to get more leads. What else do we talk about?
Just how to win in this business. You know, it's we talked about it before. It's a simple business. It's not extremely difficult, but how to just kind of remain calm and keep that business coming in.
Right. Yeah.
Be the best pro you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best professional you can.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about a lot of social media stuff as this show evolves.
Right.
And we're probably going to cover different topics numerous times. But last time we talked about your first 2 years as a realtor.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know, right now he's a team lead here at Irvine, and we're going to eventually get to how he became a team lead. But let's get right into your third year. So your first year you were Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You closed something like 14 transactions
the first year.
Second year was somewhere around 20.
Yeah,
right?
closed over 20, yeah.
And then what happened in your third year? What were your goals going into your year 3? And you're now full-time realtor at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me what your goals were going into that year, and then what happened that year.
Well, the third year, I had a goal to do 24 transactions, and I didn't hit it. I did about the same as I did year 2, and the reasons were just, you know, I didn't have the roadmap to get to 24, and very few people in my office had the roadmap to get to 24. I found that the people doing it were they either had REO accounts, or they were starting to get REO accounts, or they had some vein of business that was what we call niche marketing, right? It could have been their farming community or an area that they worked in for a long period of time. And so duplicating that business would have taken time, and so I was trying to find the best possible scenarios to get business. So that would have been about 2005. So I was still just doing a lot of open houses and holding them open for other agents, and I was starting to list property at that time.
Yeah. Oh, that's I do want to talk about that and the open house. But I'm noticing something. So your second year you wanted to double your first year.
Right. You
didn't quite do that. Your third year you didn't reach your goal.
Right.
So is that on purpose? Are you just creating goals that you know you're not going to hit, but you want to at least try to get close to?
No, I wanted to raise it more than that, because if I did 20 in year 2, then year 3 I wanted to do 24. I thought 2 deals a month, that shouldn't be difficult to do. I was just kind of lost, you know, and I found that I was in that place where I think agents either break down or they break through. And I was already pushing myself. I was already challenging myself to some extent, and so breaking through that level was something that I thought would be very difficult. Plus, I don't know that I really believed I could hit it. You know, I think you know, if I could go back in time, I would have a little more faith. And year 3, honestly, I started to back off a little bit. You know, as I started to burn out from doing everything, I started to say I took my foot off the gas a little bit, because.
And what caused you to burn out? What type of things?
Sometimes you can set a goal without a meaningful deadline or meaningful thing that happens at the end of it, and then it just becomes repetitive, right? Like, you know, starting over the new year, you know, you gasp and you go, okay, I've got to go out and do it again this year, and I was doing everything, you know, so that was the problem. That's what caused me to burn out.
Did you still like your job, or you started to hate your job at that point?
I started to feel the pains of it.
Yeah.
I really did start feeling the pains of it. I didn't, you know, I'm spending weekends away. You know, I started to, you know, encounter more client situations. Some of the initial enthusiasm I had started to really wane, because it did become more of just a job.
Right.
And little did I know it was okay that happened, you know, because everything, you know, 95% of the time, you know, as Darren Hardy says, it's hard, you know, and 5% of the time is when you get the glory from it. And so I just realized that I needed to do either some things differently so that I had more of a balance. Because your first 3 to 5, you're hustling in this business. Your first 3 to 5 years, you're doing everything you can. Right,
but 20 transactions still a lot. You made a fair income that year.
That's good.
What did you ever feel like the income was just not worth what you had to go through to get it?
Oh, sure. You know, I thought about it lots of times. I'm like, you know, I loved the income that came in from it, but then I realized, you know, there's quite a bit of this that goes to taxes. There's a method of tax planning you have to do. There's all these things you have to
quarterly
do.
payments, right?
Quarterly payments.
So you started doing that?
Yeah, you started to have to do quarterly payments, and I should have done it from year one. They just don't have a school really,
Right.
and that says, look, this is how to set yourself up financially in real estate.
Right.
I mean, our office does, but that's 14 years later. So
So are agents taught to make their quarterly payments now regularly?
yeah, absolutely. They're taught finance. They're
All
taught,
agents, right? Not just the mega agents.
no, not just the mega agents. It's important they set that groundwork from the beginning. And so we have financial management classes. Steve Schloss teaches financial management classes here on how to allocate your funds and different things you can do. And he's a financial planner and in real estate, so
Very good.
he's very qualified to do so.
Right. Yeah, very good. And that's at Keller Williams in Irvine for those watching.
Right.
So what made you change what you were doing? Was it that year, or was it a year 4? When did you decide to change your system?
I think I hit the same pattern all the way up till 2007, and
okay.
we remember 2007.
Yes.
It haunts me every single day. I did 7 transactions that year, so I took a huge step back, and I did 7 transactions, and it was just painful. It was I didn't know what was happening with the market. Really a lot of my peers were in the business less than 5 or 6 years, so they all just saw the market coming up, and so getting advice was hard, like what to expect. And I didn't know it was going to be one of the biggest downturns of our history. So you're expecting, okay, maybe a year of this is going to happen, maybe 2 years of this is going to happen, and the softening of prices, and then it's going to go back up, but it lasted for 5-6 years.
So you were there from the boom through the bust. So year 3 and year 4 was what, around like 06?
Yeah, 05, 06.
Okay.
So
And
I
then
got into late 2002. So.
Okay, so then the recession hit. It affected you a lot that year,
It did.
Or those next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And did that change your systems, or?
It did.
Yeah. So what did you start doing at that point?
So what I started doing is being more strategic, especially in 2008. So between 2007 and 2008, I grew my business 425%. And what changed was my mindset. I didn't control the inventory because it was bank owned. There were some that were short sales, so I was going for short sales, and I decided to view it more as helping people instead of a job. And that helped me because it helped my mindset. And so my mindset was like, I'm going to go out and help people. So I was helping people in distress situations. I actually learned to be the keeper of the inventory, so to speak. So and because I didn't have REO accounts, I developed deep relationships with the people that did have them, and they would oftentimes give me the properties that were coming on the market in the next 2 to 3 weeks and say, Dan, if you have a buyer for these, let us know. And so I would shop. I did what was called shopping deals, where I would take these deals and I would take them to investment clients, anybody, and I would call through my whole database.
So how did you find your investment clients?
It's funny, they kind of find you. Through the process of doing open houses. I had an investment client, his name was Barry, that was a connection from somebody else, and Barry had a lot of money and he wanted to invest in property, and daily he would contact me and say, Dan, I have the cash if you have the deal. And really good investors, they refer you to other investors if you're finding the deals for them. You just have to be more proactive than anything. So my research got detailed. I knew my market like the back of my hand. And so the knowledge helped me to succeed in that market.
And this was all with Keller Williams?
No, I was with Prudential at the time.
Oh, at the time, okay. And when did you join Keller Williams?
And it wasn't until 2011?
Oh, okay.
2011.
Oh, okay.
I joined
So
Keller Williams.
it was quite a while.
Yeah, I'm 3 years in, a little over 3 years in.
And you said you started focusing on listings around year 3, right?
Right.
So what was your experiences with listings, working with sellers as opposed to working with buyers?
At first I was scared of it, but then I started to really enjoy it because sellers want consult. They want to know what your opinion is on what's going to happen over the next 30 to 60 days. And what I found is, like, in just speaking with them and asking them what it is, what information they liked, and databasing these sellers and stuff, they would tell me what they wanted, and they just really wanted my opinion. They wanted to know, like, what was going to happen in the next 30 days, or what did I see the market conditions being. And so then I started just really studying that, like what based on what's happening now, what does it look like is going to happen in the next 30 to 60 days? And giving them kind of a snapshot of my opinion, and as long as it was educated, it seemed to work out really well.
Was it face-to-face interaction, just meeting with them at their homes?
Yeah, face-to-face interaction. I would get phone calls. We were doing things called market snapshots that people could just sign up and get updates monthly with their what's going on currently in their market, so they didn't need that agent's postcard or anything like that. It's just they were able to subscribe to it, no marketing attached to it, and open it, get the updates on their values of their home.
Yeah, so we learn a lot about listing presentations and things like that. How much of that actually goes on, and how many times did you actually do listing presentations versus just getting a listing without even doing a presentation? Is it like half the time?
Yeah, probably half the time, maybe half the time. Especially the more you work that sphere, the less of a presentation it actually is, because they already have confidence in you. I think the more you establish yourself as that person that knows the market and knows the area, they're not worried about your marketing plan as much. They want to know that you care about the situation behind the situation, and that situation is not the house, it's whatever they're going through that's making them sell that house. Whatever they're trying to do, and so we talk more about that at my listing presentations.
About their future, what they will do after moving.
Their goals and how we can help them accomplish their goals, and then the
And
house
how do
is a
you do
byproduct. You listen to what they're saying. So like I really want to get Timmy in school by summertime. Okay, well great. Right now it's March. You realize, it could take us, 30, 60 days or longer to get an offer if we're not strategic with our pricing. And so it's about positioning people, not positioning their home or marketing their home. It's about setting them up to understand that in order for you to achieve that goal, here's what we got to do.
Yeah, so oftentimes, I don't know if you read the book, Freakonomics.
I read part of it, yeah.
So they talk about realtors and how when they get someone else's listing, they'll list it lower than what they would list their own home.
Oh yeah.
So, they use a lot of data that could be manipulated, but do you agree with that, or do you, when you have a client's listing, do you think that the typical agent actually takes care of their customer the way they would take care of their own listing?
I think it depends on the agent. I think some agents would absolutely do more for their clients than they would probably do for their own listing.
I believe that too. Yeah.
I think that when you're doing something for somebody else, if you're outward focused, you're going to do the best possible job you can for them.
And it's all about longevity. The ones that understand that.
Sure. Yeah. You'll get repeat and referral business just because they know you cared enough to move them forward. And the best part about it is the best people are never asking you to take commission cuts. The people that actually value you and what you do, they're not saying, hey, let's reduce your commission.
Let's go from 6 to 5.
Yeah, or even worse. I mean, it's amazing out there how many struggles I see with commission percentages, and really that's just a lack of database. If you're going after people that don't know you or don't see your value, you're going to be reducing every time.
Wow. Okay. So what advice would you give to an agent who's encountering that objection constantly, saying, "Hey, can you cut your commission from 5 to 4.5?" At what point should they stop negotiating?
I would believe in your value. I would hold tight to your value that you believe that you're worth. I mean, there are some agents out there that are actually reducing their commissions a lot, and they're worth every penny of that. You know what I mean? And it's just the fact, if everybody was the best, then there wouldn't be a best.
Right.
And so believe in your value, hold tight to your standard, because the right people will subscribe to that standard. The people that you probably don't want to work with all the time are going to hit you up again and again and again.
And provide long-term value. One of the things that you said last week that really fascinated me and has me thinking about interacting with clients and providing that long-term value is you followed up with them even after the transaction ended, months, years after even?
Yeah, even years after.
So how do you do that?
You database them, and basically you keep in touch with them. So my goal was that every 30 days I was at least reaching out to all my A+ people. And these people were people that I just loved to work with, that I knew would refer me somebody in a second. Some of them referred me 5, 6, 7 clients in the same year.
Wow.
And so by keeping in touch with them after the sale and just seeing how everything was, and then of course asking for the business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when appropriate, asking for the business, saying, look, you know, my business operates on referrals. Do you know anybody that I can help? They would appreciate the same treatment you received. And
Would you use the same approach on like a B client?
right, and the B's and C clients, I would call like once a quarter.
Okay.
They would be receiving things from me, like valuable items in the mail.
Oh, okay.
Doing my best to stay top of mind.
Like what kind of things would you send?
Information on things for them, like you know, like power saving tips, things like that, things that directly
Okay.
related to their home. You know, how to save electricity on your electricity bill and still be comfortable. How to financial information that I would come across, like, you know, I would send them their financial statement, their closing statement actually. You know, so if I did a transaction that year, January, I would bring their estimated HUD or their closing HUD, their closing statement from escrow. I'd print it back out because they lose those things when they move in.
Right.
And there's tax deductible things on there with a letter that said, hey, there's some tax deductions on here. I want you to take advantage of.
It's good advice.
We did property tax amendments.
So you're just going out of your way to save them even more money,
Yeah,
or put even more money back in their pocket.
yeah. Adding value sometimes is putting more money back in their pocket or just putting more information in front of them that they actually want to see and want to know about.
And if you were to use the same strategy that you use with your A clients on the B's and C's, would it not work because it'd be kind of weird? Like it would maybe not make sense for you to do that, or is it just a business decision?
It's a business decision, you know. It's like flying first class, right? You know, your first class passengers or your Sky Miles Club members on different things, they're treated differently than the rest of the passengers on the plane, right? And so you want to make sure that first of all they know that you appreciate them, and it's okay for them to be set apart, right? So they're different. You know, I had two clients that worked in an office together, and I sent Mother's Day flowers to a client. One of them was an A client, one of them was like a C client. And an A client, someone that refers business and you know, really values the service. So I sent flowers to the A plus client for Mother's Day and stuff, and the other one didn't get it. And so I got a phone call, and she's like, "Hey, there must be some mistake. So and so, you know, sent me. Well, you know, she's one of my top referrers. You know, she refers me a lot of business and stuff, and you haven't, and I just didn't think you were interested in that." You know, and all of a sudden it gets them thinking, like, whoa, okay, well, I am interested now. You know, people like to be treated well.
Right.
I think your A clients deserve that special treatment. Your B's and C's can become A's. It's just you want to focus on the best of the best first.
Yeah, it's funny how, so with your A clients, would you get to know everyone in their family and most of the things they were going through, like kind of intimate stuff that they're dealing with, like their kids' birthdays or things like that, or you wouldn't go quite that deep?
I would. There's time constraints on everything, right? I'd go to birthday parties. I'd do all of that
okay.
as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And they'd invite me, which was great because I looked at it twofold. They're adding value to me. You know, it's great to be in relationship with them, but they would introduce me to their friends that came to the party. This is Dan. He sold us this house. You know, or this is Dan. He sold our house and then found us this one. You know, and they were just like showing me up like as a trophy. So the best clients I would do that with for multiple reasons.
And so the context you have established with them, you're almost like friends at this point, or you are friends at this point. Okay, so that's really what would separate the A and B client. And these days, it's funny, you can do the same mapping, social mapping, with social media, and you can find out even more intimate things. Like, we would never talk about, hey, I just ate a Snickers bar today.
Yeah, exactly.
Like back in 1995. But in 2015, we might Instagram, hey, this was awesome, like I just ate this. So now you know this person likes Snickers, right? You would have never known that in the 90s from someone.
But what would you do, like if you were in that same boat and you said, hey, I ate a Snickers bar and stuff, and then someone that was trying to earn business with you, or someone, you know, they called you up, or they sent you one. Or
they sent me one, that'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome, right? Because they know something about you. And social media has allowed people to get to know each other without having to probe and ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
And people are in shock and awe. They're like, wow, okay, you remembered that about me. Or you remembered something important to me.
It shows intent and it shows effort
Right.
And I think that businesses still don't do that. And realtors too, realtors are a small business essentially. Some of them are big businesses. And a very small percentage actually show this kind of intent and put in this amount of effort on these kind of things.
Right.
Customer retention, I guess, CRM,
Right.
right? On these kind of activities.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
It's a very important thing. They shouldn't be left behind. You know.
So, okay, after the recession, I guess next video we'll talk about kind of the recession and how you pulled out of it. So you said that one of your best years was actually during the recession period.
Yeah, 2008 was one of my best years in real estate because it taught me a lot of things about people. It taught me about leverage. You know, instead of just always going after new people, I would go after new people, and then I would also take really good care of the other people. And then I also realized that other real estate agents were my clients too. I mean, I think that people out there, they really think that when they're submitting an offer that they're submitting it directly to the seller. And really what they're submitting the offer to is influence. Because if their agent has more influence over them and there's multiple offers in that situation, I want to be the top of the pile. I want that agent selling me and my ability to close my client's offer.
Wow.
And so when you think about that, and I think about like how many times real estate agents fight with each other in a transaction to be top dog, it's like these people are your clients.
As opposed to like helping them out.
Yeah.
Would you ever go as far with a competing realtor, like you would with your Class A customers? Like go take them out to dinner, go to their birthdays, stuff like that?
Maybe not that. I find that a lot of times they operate off of, they're busy people too, so they're operating off, now I would because of what my role is, but they are operating off of a kind of a different perspective. They're just not appreciated. I think when you look at it across the board, when's the last time as a real estate agent you've received a personal note from another agent saying, hey, I love the transaction and you're really good at XYZ, let's stay in touch.
Have you received those?
I've received one, I think,
wow.
in my lifetime. But it feels good sending them, you know, after the end of a transaction. I mean, you certainly don't have to do it, and it takes your time, which is your most precious asset. So it's a cool thing, you know, and to own that relationship going forward it's gonna position you well as far as doing what's best for your clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a perfect segue. We're gonna leave you guys on a cliffhanger. Next week we can talk about leverage.
Okay.
I think that's good.
That sounds great.
All right.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you guys for watching TheRealtorShow.com. Take care.